Okay, Speed Fiends, it's time to shift your gaming space into the fast lane with these Sonic the Hedgehog-inspired ngenuity keyboard profiles. Download links are in the description below for those who've got to go fast, but watch along and you can learn how to make them for yourself. Style 1. Sonic Sight. Speed may be the main way Sonic stands out, but that hasty hedgehog has some pretty recognisable visual features too. This first look will bring his distinctive eye shape to your keyboard in a cool blue design. To start, we've applied a solid blue pattern in the following hex code across the entire keyboard except for the rows above the arrow keys. Drop the opacity of this layer down to just 25. We've then laid a breathing pattern of the same blue over the top, with a slow speed of just 20. Thanks to the background layer, that'll create a gentle hum to the keys without them dipping to black entirely. Right, it's time to get those eyes open. Create another solid layer, then bump up the brightness to maximum to set those LEDs burning bright white. You can pause to copy the keys shown on the screen now to replicate our shape, or try building your own. Just remember to get plenty of size and curve to match Sonic's face, linking up the eyes in the middle. Is it weird that Sonic's eyes are conjoined? Yes, but still not as weird as that creepy movie version from the early trailers. Ugh. Over on the numpad keys, we've added another solid effect in golden yellow, this time in a ring shape around the edges. You can almost hear the sound effect just by looking at it. Finally, for those lucky enough to own an RGB bar and function buttons, we've created a swipe effect at a speed of 50, which shifts between Sonic blue and white to add some pace across the top of the board. If you're lucky enough to have an RGB mouse or mat as well, you can sync up the rest of your space by applying the same Sonic blue to both via Light Sync. Once you're happy, you can save this design to one of your keyboard's 3 onboard slots to let you swap between presets at the tap of a button. Style 2. Green Hill Zone. Admit it, you're already humming the level's music, aren't you? Green Hill Zone is as intrinsically linked with the Sonic games as the Blue Blur himself. So, let's show some love for that classic opening level on your keyboard. Our Green Hill Zone inspired design starts by spreading a ground layer in a solid reddish brown across the base row of the keyboard. We've dropped the opacity of this segment to 50 to lower its brightness. On the next row up, we've shifted to a bolder green solid to form our grassy surface. To add some scenery, we've then extended the same browns and greens up the board in a few places to build several tree shapes. Feel free to muck around and craft your own scenery here though. So now we have a level, but something's missing. A certain azure hedgehog, perhaps? To bring Sonic to our personal Green Hill Zone, we've used a wave effect, limiting it to the row across from the A, S, D keys, up to delete, and back down onto the numpad. Most of the colour bar is set to black, filling in a small chunk as bright blue, which then fades into white. That short tail of white should create the effect of Sonic whizzing across the keyboard with a speed trail behind him. Meow. A quick note for those building their own, you'll want to ensure that the brown ground and tree solid layer is positioned above the wave in the effects list, or you'll find that the keys that overlap fail to show up. Our final bass effect is a solid Sonic blue added to the RGB bar and media keys. Consider it the skies above your keyboard level. So our level's complete and the main star is here. But for a final touch, we've added a triggered effect of a golden yellow explosion. With a single tap of the key, you can end Sonic's perfect run and send the rings he's collected spiraling across the board. Whoops, our finger slipped, honest. For Light Sync this time, we've used the same Sonic blue, but set it to a breathing pattern at a speed of 40. Again, you can save this design to another slot on your keyboard if you want to. Style 3. Sonic vs Knuckles. For our final design, we've introduced Sonic's long-term rival and sometimes friend, Knuckles, to the mix. The sunburnt echidna loves to test his mettle against our beloved Blue Blur, and this profile will have them going claw to claw on your keyboard. Wait, do hedgehogs and echidnas even have claws? To get Sonic and Knuckles racing around your RGB lights, we've utilised a large number of wave functions. 8, in fact. Because of this, be warned that building or adjusting it yourself can prove a little tricky. Starting with Knuckles, here's the general gist. We put together a loop around the left side of the keyboard using 4 wave patterns. 1 for each direction our Knuckles will be travelling. Each wave comprises a solid red chunk, fading off into a white tail and then black, just like our Sonic from the previous design. Here though, you'll need to shift the wave direction and the positioning of the colour bars on each subsequent wave. You want to ensure that the wave begins just as the previous one arrives at its end. Note that you may need to hide and unhide each effect using this I button to ensure they're displayed with the correct timing. Once Knuckles is up and running, excuse the pun, you then need to repeat the same process for Sonic on the right, but this time with the direction reversed. Start with the bottom row wave to ensure he meets the middle at the same time as Knuckles for their all-important clash. Then work the timings out for the rest of the waves from there. Of course, it's vital that you keep all of them at the same speed. We used 85, but feel free to bump that up if you think we're too slow. Adjusting the timings here might take you a while, but eventually you'll have 2 mammals battling it out on your gaming space. Less of a concern for animal protection services than you might think. We've also copied those bottom row waves to Knuckle and Sonic's respective halves of the RGB bar for some extra red-blue rivalry. For another last lick of colour, we brought out the bottom row and function keys in a bold purple, halfway between red and blue. And finally, we've let you add some impact to that clash with a rapid white explosion triggered effect. Tap the central keys as Sonic and Knuckles meet to send a shockwave splashing across your keyboard. If you really want to declare your allegiance one way or the other, you can use Light Sync to add some extra blue or red around your keyboard. Or diplomatically sit on the fence like us with a bit of both. Save this profile to your final keyboard slot and you're ready to shift between all 3 faster than a hedgehog chasing rings. As well as Sonic designs, we've already showcased Apex Legends, Elden Ring, and Star Wars ngenuity profiles. Zoom over to the HyperX channel to find those. Don't forget to like and subscribe, then let us know which characters or games you'd like profiles for next in the comments below.